What is it like being a Jamaican living in Dallas, Texas? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com, and today in Jamaicans to the World, I talk to Annmarie Bull-Austin, a Jamaican that's living in Dallas, Texas. Hi, Annmarie, how are you?
Hi, Xavier. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So, which part of Jamaica are you from?
Well, I am from Kingston, Jamaica.
Okay. And which school are you represented in Kingston?
Convent of Mercy Academy, known as Alpha Academy
All
or
right.
Alpha High School.
So, is there a teacher that you remember from Alpha that really influenced you and you still remember today?
Yeah, there is one. It's the science teacher that I had. She was very strict, a very small statue woman, and she literally commanded when you walked into the classroom. And I think her influence actually had me go into the science field.
Wow. Do you remember her name?
Yes, her name was Miss Vickers.
Okay. All right. Well, always have these teachers that influence you. So, Miss Vickers, a big shout out to you. so, so, tell us about your story, moving to the United States.
Okay, so in the early 80s, I was at Alpha. I moved from the US, from Jamaica to the US. Landed right in the Five Town area, Long Island, New York.
Okay.
Spent 1 year in high school in Long Island. And then after high school, went straight to college, attended Stony
Okay.
Brook University. Shout out to my CSO, Caribbean Student Organization at Stony Brook University.
Okay.
Um, so
So,
got my got my degree there.
all right. So, what was your biggest culture shock moment when you came to the United States? What do you remember as that really like, man, this is different than I thought?
There's a caveat to that because I started traveling to the US when I was around 7 years old.
Okay, so
Near the
you're
summer.
used to it. You're used to the US then.
Yeah, I was used to the US. So I spent my summers every year in the US starting in '87 all the way until I immigrated to the US.
All right, so there's no real culture shock, but if you have one, by all means, but you
No,
may
there
not.
wasn't a culture shock. I think as a child, when I actually came up, spent time in Brooklyn and seeing the hydrants opened up during the
Right.
summer and all the kids running into the streets, and I knew I couldn't go into the streets to get myself wet. So that was,
I think
so I had a lot else. I'm going to be in trouble when I get back home.
I think the first time I saw that was in Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing." That was the first time
Uh-huh.
I remember seeing the hydrants open and everybody out
Mhm.
there in the street. Looks like a lot of fun. So you practice a lot of restraint.
Yeah, well, when you have strict upbringing, you know exactly how to behave, right? When you're
Oh
out in
yes.
public.
Oh yes, oh yes. So tell us you're about Dallas. You now live in Dallas. You've lived across the United States, and you ended up in Dallas. How did you get to Dallas? How did you choose Dallas? And tell us the story.
Okay, so as far as Dallas is concerned, so I had two children who are living in Dallas, and they were the encouraging ones to come to Dallas, along with relocating for my job. So that worked hand in hand. And then also, Dallas, there are no income taxes. So that's even a nicer piece in Texas where there are no income taxes. So your dollar kind of stretches and goes a little bit further. So that's pretty good.
Uh, and the cost of living is a cost. What how is the cost of living there compared to? I know you were in Connecticut, I believe. What was
Right,
how do you
Connecticut.
compare it?
The supermarket, you're going to spend less, going to the supermarket and also into the restaurants itself.
Mm-hmm.
Where that's concerned. New York City and Connecticut is going to be higher price, right, on the East Coast,
Right,
where
right.
that's concerned. But the cost of living here is manageable, I would say.
Okay. All right. And is there like a certain type of food that you would say you see more of in Texas and Dallas than when you were in the Northeast?
Oh my gosh, brisket. So they're big on barbecue here, with brisket itself, with barbecues. That's the chest or the lower half of the cow.
Right.
So anything barbecued is a big thing. Is a big thing here, and Tex-Mex. That's a big
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I have an uncle that live in Texas, and I think the first time I ever encountered steak and
Hmm.
eggs was by his house, and
Hmm.
it threw me off because I'm like, no, steak is for dinner, eggs is
Hmm.
for breakfast, but
Hmm.
steak and eggs,
Yeah,
you
so
know.
you gotta get accustomed here because there are cows all over.
So, in terms of the Caribbean community, is there a huge Caribbean community there that you have encountered?
So in Dallas, it's kind of spread. So Dallas is has 8 million people. It's a lot of people, and they have it's called the DFW Metroplex, and it's spread out. There's over 200 cities in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So you'll find Jamaicans, but they're pretty spread out. Where I found my Jamaican posse, I would call it, or my contingency, is at church. You know,
Okay,
they hear the accent, and all of a sudden, all the Jamaicans in the church. So that's why good thing, everybody's introducing you to the other person, and it
right.
worked out excellent because the pastor is also Jamaican.
Oh, nice, nice. So you're going to a practically a Jamaican church then?
I wouldn't say it's a Jamaican church because it's a mega church. It's a mega
Okay,
church. So
okay, okay,
the pastor is Jamaican, his wife is American, but
okay,
it's a mega
okay.
church. Hmm.
All right, all right. Any Caribbean events that are out there? I believe there used to be, and I know COVID changed things. So, but
Hmm.
I believe there used to be I believe a reggae festival that used to happen out there in Dallas. You know if it still happened, and if not, people put it in the comments and say it's still happening.
There's a reggae festival. The next one is it's going to be in April of 2024.
Okay,
So we can, and everything is big in Texas, just to let you know. So it's not just a little festival. So the food, the music, and everything. So they do have it. They do have it.
all right. So you get your Jamaican contingency at church. But where do you get your Jamaican food? Do you cook it at home, or is there you do both? Cook and there's a place that you go to and you get your jerk chicken or your jerk fish or your whatever.
All right. So
How do you?
that is a challenge because I'm in North Dallas. I'm closer to Oklahoma. I'm like an hour and a half away from Oklahoma. So to get to the Jamaican restaurant, I have to kind of go further towards Dallas, the city of Dallas itself. But there's a restaurant that recently opened up in my town. It just got launched during the early part of the summer itself. I haven't been there yet, but it's not
Okay,
straight Jamaican. It's mixed with Jamaican and Haitian food. So, so you can get your oxtail, but it's not going to be your straight oxtail with white rice and stuff like that. It's kind of mixed.
okay.
Um,
So
but
you're getting your fix at home. Then you're doing your Jamaican food at home.
I do it at home. I do it at home for the most part.
Okay. And is there a Jamaican store or you're ordering online? Because again, I was saying to another guest the other day, you get your pig steel, you can order your pig steel on Amazon now.
I have a store with that with pig steel. I have a store with that.
Well,
So
tell us.
so My parents came to visit. When they came to visit, it was like the latter part of last year, and I wanted my mom to cook stewed peas and rice. Everything was ready. She soaked the peas and everything, and we went looking for the pig's tail. Could not find any at all. They didn't even know what we were talking about itself. So that kind of aborted mission with the stew peas and rice, which ended up turning into rice and peas. Oh my God. So that aborted mission. Usually there's a store called the Fiesta Market here. It's all over Dallas. It's a Spanish market where you could get some of the Jamaican items, but in every Fiesta is not the same market, so you probably have to go closer to the city of Dallas, like Carrollton, Irving area, and they do sell Jamaican products in there, including the hardwood bread.
Okay,
So
nice.
you can get the hardwood bread, and you can get the bun in there. You can get the cheese in there. So it's not in every fiesta. You just have to know where to go.
Okay, it's probably the fiesta that has more Jamaicans around, and they know it's moving off the shelf.
Correct.
And they'll have it. Yes.
Yeah. Correct.
So in terms of the Caribbean community now, not just the Jamaicans, the Caribbean communities, is there a huge Caribbean community there?
Again, I would say it's scattered. Jamaicans are all over. So in Dallas, yes, there's a lot of Jamaicans, but because it's such a big metroplex, you're going to run into Jamaicans here and there. I mean, I went to the movie theater and I ran into a Jamaican there, right? But it's so widespan that, Jamaicans are here, but yes,
other Caribbean communities there.
Effort. Yeah, correct.
All right. Correct. So tell me, what's the funniest, or it might be interesting thing that happened to you in Dallas when you mentioned to someone, I am Jamaican?
Usually when I tell them that, or they hear the accent or whatever, the first thing they're asking is about Dunn's River Falls. They hear about Dunn's River Falls and they want to talk about it because they've heard some, especially if they haven't gone to Jamaica before. And again, Bob Marley, right? Everybody knows Bob Marley and Bob Marley music itself. Nothing funny per se, as far as being, Jamaican itself, but it's just the interest. It's just the interest.
And they know where Jamaica is.
Definitely. The big DFW International Airport is here. They know.
So how do you manage out there weather-wise? Because, you used to be in the Northeast. Now you're in the Dallas area. You're going from not extremes, but you're getting the full weather spectrum. You're going to get the extreme hot and
it's a shocker.
And the cold.
It's a shocker. So the heat here is unbearable in the summer. The humidity is very high. We had temperature up to 117 degrees this summer with the high humidity itself. And when the temperature is that bad, I would say you definitely need to have air conditioning in your house. That is a must. And if the air conditioner breaks down, you need to fix it ASAP because it's no joke. It's a health concern. So you definitely have to have air conditioning. I try to stay indoors as much as possible when the humidity is that high. Because you could feel the heaviness of the air as soon as you open the door. I mean, I've been into my garage. Yeah, I've been into my garage for 2 minutes. I come down, I come in sweating, just dripping sweat because of the humidity.
Push it again. So that humidity can be brutal at times, really brutal. In terms of the people, native Texans, whatever, how do you find the people there?
The people are very friendly. So I have to kind of shift from the East Coast mentality to the Southern mentality, because on the East Coast, everybody's ready to, they have somewhere to go. They're not wasting time, no small talk kind of thing. Here in Dallas, people are very approachable. They'll stop, they'll talk to you. I had a woman in Costco talking to me for half an hour, and I didn't even know the woman. So, they will spend time just having a conversation. And especially when they know you're from the East Coast, they love Texas. They will promote Texas to the nth degree. So, they tell you where to go and what to do and where to, what restaurant to go and eat. So they're in full blown conversation with you.
All right, proud, Texas proud. So, it went right into the segment I wanted to ask you. So, I visited Dallas before, but again, it's a huge place. If there is somewhere, maybe it's an attraction, maybe it's an event, maybe it's, just, check out these ranches or whatever. If there's something that you'd suggest to someone visiting Dallas, Texas, or the Texas area to do, what would that be?
There's so many different things, but one thing that is current now is the state fair of Texas. It's the largest state fair in the country, and it goes for 3 weeks total. So it started on Friday of last week, and then it goes all the way until the 3rd week in October, and it's every day that they have it. Big Tex is there. I think I have the water bottle to show you. This is him. But he is over 50 feet tall.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and his shoe size is also over 50 feet.
I can see you're a big fan of Big Tex.
Yeah, so as soon as you walk into the fair, you see them. But there's a lot at the fair. I mean, you're gonna get your corny dogs that you have to eat, or your funnel cake. They have a lot of attractions there, along with they have concerts going on, the band, the football game going on. So there's a multiple array of things going on at the Texas Fair.
All right. So check out the Texas Fair, and it happens in the month of what, October, basically, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. In the
Correct.
month of October.
For the first 3 weeks. The first 3 weeks in October.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you a scenario. You are traveling to Jamaica. You get off the plane. You get out the airport. What is that first thing you're either doing, you're either eating, or the place you're visiting?
All right. So if I'm getting off the airport in Kingston, it's a definite Devon House to get the ice cream, the Great Nut ice cream. I have to get the Great Nut ice cream. I do that all the time when I go into Kingston. If I'm getting off in Montego Bay, the first place I go is the Jerk Pit in Montego Bay. So that's the first
chicken.
spot.
Jerk chicken is going for the jerk pork.
Jerk chicken.
Or both.
The jerk chicken. I kind of stay away from the jerk pork.
All right. No jerk Trenton for you.
But that is a definite.
All right. So what advice would you give to someone, who is thinking, I'm looking to settle in Texas, specifically maybe in the Dallas area? What word of advice would you give to them?
I would say in Dallas, it's you have to have a car. Unless if you're staying in the suburb areas and not in the city of Dallas, you're going to need a car. The DART train only is very limited to where it goes, so you're not going to have buses in the suburbs to to get you here and there. You're going to probably have to use Uber or Lyft, but you definitely need a car and get accustomed to the speed. Here the highways are just humongous, and it's like arteries into arteries, and the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. So everybody's driving fast, and you got to figure out which lane to stay in. You got to be committed to the lane you're staying in, because you can get into an accident really fast here.
Line yourself up. Line yourself up.
Yeah.
Well, Annmarie, thank you for telling us about your journey, your story to the United States, Texas specifically, and appreciate you spending some time with us. Now, does the Texans have any expressions that they use, that you hear that you have only heard in Texas?
The real Texans, they say, y'all take care now.
All right.
They use the y'all.
So we will do the Texas goodbye. Y'all take care now.
Y'all take care now. I enjoyed it.
All right. Take care.
All right, Xavier.
Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.